There's something very important you need to understand right from the beginning. You might be measuring your blood pressure every day, but the numbers you see may not reflect your true condition. It may sound hard to believe, but this is something I see very often, especially in people over 60 who are very careful about their health. You measure it regularly every morning, keep detailed records, but just a few small mistakes in how you measure can throw the results off by 10 to 20 points or even more. And the problem doesn't stop at simply measuring incorrectly. These inaccurate numbers can lead to wrong decisions. You might be diagnosed with high blood pressure when you don't actually have it. Or the opposite, you think everything is fine, while your blood pressure is silently causing damage inside your body. What makes it dangerous is this. These mistakes don't cause pain, and they don't have obvious symptoms, but the consequences can last for years. So before you trust any number, you need to be sure you're measuring it the right way. Blood pressure isn't just two numbers you see on a screen. It's one of the most important pieces of data doctors use to make treatment decisions. Based on those numbers, a doctor can. In other words, if the input data is wrong, every decision that follows will also be wrong. A higher than actual reading can lead you to worry unnecessarily, take medication when it's not needed, experience side effects you could have avoided. On the other hand, a lower than actual reading can be even more dangerous. You might miss a real case of high blood pressure, a major risk factor for stroke, heart disease, and kidney damage. And here's the key point. These inaccuracies usually don't come from the device, but from how you use it. Just a few small habits like your sitting posture, the position of your arm, or the timing of the measurement can significantly affect the results. So, before you try to fix your blood pressure, the first thing you need to do is make sure you're measuring it correctly. Before we talk about common mistakes, you need to clearly understand one thing: what blood pressure actually is. Blood pressure is the force your blood exerts against the walls of your arteries each time your heart beats. It's always recorded as two numbers. The top number, systolic, the pressure when your heart contracts and pumps blood out. The bottom number, diastolic, the pressure when your heart rests between beats. These two numbers are not fixed. They constantly change depending on your activity, your emotions, your posture, and even how you measure. That's why a difference of just 10-20 points can lead to a completely different conclusion. A reading of 140 might lead to a diagnosis of high blood pressure, but if measured correctly, the true number could be just 125, completely different. So what matters isn't just what your numbers are, but how you measure them. Understanding the true nature of blood pressure helps you realize that every small step in the measuring process matters. Let me tell you about a patient I'll call Franklin, 72 years old. He was very careful. Every morning, he measured his blood pressure at home and kept detailed records. For several weeks in a row, his readings were consistently around 155/95. He started to worry. He was already taking medication, but these numbers made him believe the treatment was no longer effective. When he came to see me, the first thing he said was, "Doctor, I think I need to increase my dosage." But instead of adjusting his medication right away, I asked him to do something very simple. Show me how you measure your blood pressure. Within just a few minutes, I realized he wasn't making just one mistake, he was making several at the same time. These small errors, combined, were significantly raising his readings. After correcting each step, we measured his blood pressure again right there in the clinic. His actual result was 128/82. No need to increase medication, no serious issue. Just incorrect measurement. One small step, but it makes a big difference. Here's another very common mistake that many people overlook: the position of your arm when measuring blood pressure. Many people measure their blood pressure while letting their arm hang down or placing their arm too low compared to their chest. This may seem like a small detail, but it has a significant impact on the results. When your arm is lower than your heart, gravity causes more blood to pool in the arm. This increases the pressure in the arteries at the measurement site, and the device will record a higher reading than your actual blood pressure. Studies show that Simply placing your arm incorrectly can artificially increase readings by 5 to 10 points or even more. On the other hand, if your arm is too high, the result may be lower than your actual blood pressure. Your blood pressure is constantly changing from minute to minute. After physical activity or strong emotions, your body will increase heart rate, constrict blood vessels, temporarily raise blood pressure. If you measure at that moment, the number you get is not your true resting blood pressure, but just a temporary response from your body. Medical guidelines recommend: sit still for at least 5 minutes before measuring. Don't talk. Don't use your phone. Avoid stressful thoughts. Just resting properly can reduce measurement errors by 5 to 15 points. A very simple habit, but it determines the accuracy of your entire result. 7. Many people think they can measure their blood pressure as soon as they sit down, but in reality, your sitting posture directly affects the reading. One very common mistake is, a proper posture allows your body to truly relax and gives you a reading that accurately reflects your blood pressure. Here's another very common habit that many people don't even notice: crossing your legs while measuring blood pressure. Sitting with your legs crossed may feel comfortable, but physiologically, it directly affects blood flow in your body. When you cross your legs, the blood vessels in your legs are compressed. This restricts circulation and causes more blood to shift toward the upper body. As a result, your blood pressure reading can be artificially increased by 2 to 8 points in both numbers. It may not sound like much, but in many cases, just a few points can change how your doctor evaluates your condition. This is a mistake that can happen even in medical settings. So the rule is very simple. Always sit with both feet flat on the floor, don't cross your legs or rest one on top of the other. Most standard cuffs fit arm circumferences between 20 to 32 centimeters. If your arm falls outside this range, you'll need a different size. Don't guess measure your arm circumference and make sure you're using the correct cuff size. The right equipment is the foundation of an accurate result. Here's another seemingly small mistake that can greatly affect your readings: talking or moving while measuring your blood pressure. Many people have the habit of chatting with someone nearby, turning their head to look at the screen, adjusting their posture, or even laughing or answering a phone call. But even a small action like that is enough to change the result. When you talk or move, your body will activate the nervous system, increase heart rate, cause slight vasoconstriction. All of these responses can raise your blood pressure immediately. Studies show that saying just one sentence during the measurement can increase systolic blood pressure by about 15-17 points. That's a very significant difference. So the rule is clear. Once you start measuring, keep your body completely still. Don't talk. Don't move. Don't look at your phone. Just sit quietly and breathe normally until the measurement is finished. A few moments of stillness can give you a much more accurate reading. Another very common mistake is measuring your blood pressure only once and immediately trusting that result. What you need to understand is blood pressure is not a fixed number. It fluctuates constantly based on your breathing, emotions, stress levels, and even the anticipation before measuring. In particular, the first reading is often higher than usual. This is called the first reading effect, when your body slightly reacts to the act of measuring, temporarily increasing your heart rate and blood pressure. If you rely on just one measurement, you can easily fall into two situations: unnecessary worry due to a falsely high reading, false reassurance due to a falsely low reading. Medical guidelines recommend take at least 2-3 readings about 1 minute apart. Then, ignore the first reading. If it's unusually high, average the next 2 readings. This method helps eliminate random fluctuations and gives a more accurate picture of your actual condition. A small change in how you measure can help you avoid many unnecessary misunderstandings. Another very common mistake is measuring your blood pressure at different times each day and comparing those numbers with each other. It may seem reasonable, but in reality, it can lead to major confusion. Your blood pressure changes according to your body's daily rhythm. Typically, it's lowest while you're sleeping, rises quickly after you wake up, peaks in the morning or early afternoon, then gradually decreases in the evening. This fluctuation can be as much as 20-30 points, even in healthy individuals. So if you measure in the morning today, in the afternoon tomorrow, and in the evening another day, you're comparing numbers taken at completely different times, which doesn't accurately reflect your true blood pressure. To track it properly, you should choose a consistent time each day, ideally in the morning, before eating, before taking medication. This consistency helps you track real trends, avoid confusion caused by natural fluctuations. Measuring at the right time is just as important as measuring the right way. There are two very important conditions that many people have never heard of: white coat hypertension and masked hypertension. White coat hypertension is when your blood pressure rises in a clinical setting due to anxiety or stress. This can lead to a diagnosis of high blood pressure, even though your readings are completely normal in everyday life. On the other hand, masked hypertension is even more dangerous. This is when your blood pressure appears normal in the clinic, but is actually high during your daily activities. People with this condition often don't receive treatment, believe they are fine, while in reality, high blood pressure is silently causing damage to the heart, the brain, the kidneys. Studies show that up to 30% of people have white coat hypertension, and about 15-17% of older adults have masked hypertension. So, don't rely on just a single measurement at the doctor's office. Home monitoring, when done correctly, provides a more accurate picture of your true blood pressure. When done properly, measuring your blood pressure at home is not just a habit, it's a powerful medical tool. Unlike a quick reading at the clinic, the data you record at home reflects your blood pressure under real-life conditions. When you are resting, when you are going about your normal daily activities, when your body is not under stress from a medical setting. This gives your doctor a much clearer picture of your blood pressure trend over time, rather than relying on just one number at one moment. Home monitoring is especially helpful because it can detect white coat hypertension, masked hypertension. These are two conditions that can easily be missed if blood pressure is only checked in a clinic. In some cases, your doctor may recommend 2 4-hour ambulatory blood pressure monitoring, which is considered the gold standard for evaluating blood pressure accurately throughout the day and night. But even without that device, measuring your blood pressure correctly and consistently at home can still provide tremendous value. The key is this: the numbers must be accurate in order to be meaningful. After understanding all of this, you can see one very clear truth. The real issue is not whether you measure your blood pressure, but whether you measure it correctly. Franklin's story is a perfect example. Because of just a few small mistakes in how he measured his blood pressure, he lived with unnecessary worry for months and nearly ended up increasing his medication when he didn't need to. But once each step was corrected, from his posture to his arm position to taking multiple readings, everything changed. The numbers finally reflected reality, and the treatment decisions became more accurate as well. So, what you need to do today is very simple. Check the way you are measuring your blood pressure. Compare it with the 10 principles you've just learned. Apply each step carefully, one by one. Don't rush to trust any number unless you are sure you measured it the right way. One incorrect number can lead you in the wrong direction for years. But the right measuring method can help you take control of your health every single day. If you found this content helpful, comment 1 below, and don't forget to share it with your loved ones, because even a small mistake in measuring blood pressure can have long-term effects on health.